Hi, so my name's Nikita, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the basics of investing in property in the UK and England in particular. And I just wanted to start off by putting a disclaimer out there. I am not a financial advisor at all. I don't claim to be one. I have no anticipation of being one. But what I'm talking about today is just based on my experiences over the last 8 or so years. Now, there are lots of different types of investments out there. You get stocks and shares, bonds and funds, and property is just one of them. And it's not the cheapest form either. It's actually quite expensive because in general you need quite a large sum of money. Um, but if financial freedom is what you're looking for and you don't want to be exchanging your time for money anymore, then it's definitely an avenue worth investigating and discovering more about. So for me, I took out a student loan when I went to university, and I was living out, but I decided to move back home, but I still had the maintenance loan. So what I did is I used that money to buy a house jointly with somebody else. It's always easier when you do it with somebody else. So I bought a house with my sister in Zone 4 London, and then after a period of time it went up in value, so I pulled out some money and then ended up buying another house. And then after I got married, I continued this journey with my husband rather than my sister. And what that has allowed is for me to be able to have a passive income on the side, um, through rental income. Now, with property, there are risks. So, uh, firstly, as I've mentioned before, there's no guarantee that the property that you have bought is going to increase in value. Typically, it does, and that's why so many people do it. Um, but when you're looking at the kind of money that you'll be making from buy-to-let properties, there's two ways of looking at it. Number one is the profit that you would make from the monthly rental income that you will receive. So the way you'd work that out is how much rent your tenants are paying you minus what the mortgage repayment is to the bank. That's what you're left with. And then out of that cost, you take out whatever fees that you would pay, like to an agent, for example, or if you've got other fees coming out on an annual or monthly basis, which may be something like buildings insurance, for example. Um, whatever you're left with is a monthly profit that you're getting. But the real value is actually from the appreciation of the property, how much that property goes up in value over a period of time, which is why buy to let property is not a short term financial kind of game. It's a long term. You got to be in it for the long term in order to actually see the benefits. But once it does go up in value and you're able to pull money out of it, when you remortgage, then all of a sudden you're able to go and buy another property. So now instead of having rental income from one property, you're now able to get it from two properties. And if you repeat that cycle, then you're able to multiply the amount of monthly income that you're receiving. And you ideally want to be in a position where that monthly income is outweighing your income from a salary from your 9 to 5 job. That's what you're looking for. But you must always have money aside. And the reason why you need money aside is because your tenants may decide not to pay one time. They may run into financial difficulty and they can't pay the rent. But you, as the landlord, you still owe the bank. which is why you need that there. And things always crop up. The most common one is to do with boilers breaking down. Um, you know, that costs money. They ain't cheap. So you need to have money aside. So if you are to invest in a property, make sure that you've got a large enough sum of money, not only for the deposit, not only for accountants fees for when you do tax returns, but also for solicitors fees and for insurance, and in case anything breaks down like the boiler that I mentioned, and a little bit surplus on top of that in case things need doing around the house, and trust me, they always do. So but if you do all of that properly, then you can hopefully gain financial freedom over a period of time. And I guess that's why buy to let investment is such a popular strategy. So yeah, I hope that that information is useful to a beginner out there. I appreciate that I have not gone into anything high level at the moment. It is just a beginner's piece of information. But if there's anything else that you may want to know, then feel free to drop a comment below and I'll be sure to try and address them in a separate video. Thanks, bye.